The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi 60 from Sri Lanka Insurance. Call 0112 357 357.
In a few moments, the news.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Dulmen Samarasinghe and read by Rumesh Peris. First, the headlines. According to the constitutional experts, the president cannot resign from the post. The police say no one arrested in connection with the Mirihana incident has died. The Jaffna University closed down. The government introduces a subsidy for chemical fertilizer. Japan grants 500 million yen to Sri Lanka's plant quarantine process. Devatakuda Ruwan further remanded. In foreign news, Pakistan's Supreme Court will decide embattled Prime Minister Imran Khan's fate. In sports, Australia announced as the preferred candidate to host the 2029 Women's Rugby World Cup. And now the local news in detail. Protests were conducted in various areas of the country today, as well as many of the protesters have demanded that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa should resign from his post. However, according to the constitution, the president cannot resign from the post. There are no constitutional provisions in this regard. The management of the Jaffna University said that all faculties of the university were closed down until further notice. However, final year students of the medical faculty can take part in academic activities and examinations. Students in the hostels have been asked to leave for their homes. The university management said that the decision taken according to the present situation in the country. The government has decided to provide a subsidy for chemical fertilizer considering the request made by the farmers to the president. Accordingly, Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture, D.M.L. Bandaranayake, said that a program will be introduced to get the subsidy by submitting bills related to purchasing chemical fertilizer by the farmers to the Agrarian Services Department. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi 60 from Sri Lanka Insurance.
The government of Japan has agreed to provide Japanese 500 million grant under the Japanese non-project grant aid scheme for provisions of equipment. It is to strengthen the diagnostic techniques to facilitate export certification in the country. The exchange of notes pertaining to the above grant was signed by Secretary Ministry of Finance S.R. Artigada and Ambassador of Government of Japan Mr. Koshi Hideki today at the Ministry of Finance. Colombo Chief Magistrate has ordered today to further remand Ruwan Chamila, alias Devatakuda Ruwan, and a woman named Subodha Dayangani until the 18th of this month. They have been remanded for committing an offence under the Money Laundering Act and for earning millions of rupees through Heran rackets. The magistrate ordered the CID to send about 2.5 kilograms of gold found from the possession of Subodha Dayangani to the National Gem and Jewellery Authority and to submit a report. The army has provided lunch yesterday for pilgrims to Sri Pada who have been stranded at Nalatanya due to curfew. Personnel of the 19th Sri Lanka National Defence Brigade of Mausakale have prepared the lunch and provided those to the pilgrims on the instructions of Commanding Officer Major Bandarawatha. The army has taken steps to provide them with food after receiving information that the group was without food. The gold price is increasing rapidly in the local market. One gold sovereign of 24 carats is about 167,000 rupees. The price of a 22-carat gold sovereign has increased to 157,000 rupees. And that ends local news.
the medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi60 from Sri Lanka Insurance. A health insurance plan to honor our most valued elders by the protectors of the nation. We now give our treasured senior citizens access to the very best medical insurance, specially tailored for anyone over 60. What's more, you don't need medical screening to access this policy. And Medi60 covers a wide range of illnesses. Only from Sri Lanka Insurance. Call 0112 357 357.
On to the main news story. Police say that social media reports which say that a suspect who was taken into custody during violent incidents on the 31st at Merihana, Pangariwata area has died while undergoing treatment at a hospital is false. Issuing a statement, Police Media Division has said that no suspect who has been arrested and admitted to Kalabovila Hospital has died while under medical care. Police have requested the public not to get misled by such false reports. And that was the main news story.
Watch Life is brought to you by
More prizes, more gains with CIB New Year offers. Valuable gifts for every bill. 20% discount for bank cards until 10th of April. Visit CIB today.
In Watchlight, the National Transport Commission is to introduce a special bus service to facilitate commuters during the upcoming Sinhala and Tamil New Year season from April 8th to 19th. The National Transport Commission Director General Nilan Miranda said that the buses will leave Colombo City to other provinces until April 15th, and from 15th to 19th of April, a similar operation will continue from other provinces to Colombo City. And that came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news is next.
More prizes, more gains with CIB New Year offers. Valuable gifts for every bill. 20% discount for bank cards until 10th of April. Visit CIB today.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of
No matter what anyone says, for your lease, visit the Leasing Mahagethara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagethara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
First, the headlines of the world news. Pakistan Supreme Court will decide embattled Prime Minister Imran Khan's fate. Police issue fines over number 10 gathering on eve of Prince Philip's funeral. Grammy honours go to Olivia Rodrigo, Silk Sonic and John Basti. Now the world news in detail. Pakistan Supreme Court is expected to decide the fate of embattled Prime Minister Imran Khan following a day of political turmoil. Mr. Khan has faced an attempt to oust him from office in recent days. But in a move that has roiled the country, members of Mr. Khan's party yesterday blocked a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister and dissolved Parliament. Mr. Khan had claimed the vote was part of a US-led conspiracy to remove him, but the US has denied this. UK police have issued fines to some people who attended an event in Downing Street on the eve of Prince Philip's funeral. The gathering on 16th April 2021 was a leaving party for the former number 10 Director of Communications, James Slack. Prime Minister Boris Johnson did not attend the event and has so far not been issued with a fine. The Metropolitan Police's investigation of 12 events held across government began in January. Olivia Rodrigo, Silk Sonic and jazz musician John Basti have shared the top honours at the 64th Grammy Awards. Baptiste, Uplifting Soul Record, We Are won Album of the Year, while Rodrigo won Best New Artist and Best Pop Album. Silk Sonic's Soul Throwback Anthem, Leave the Door Open, took home both the Record and Song of the Year prizes. Apart from the awards, the ceremony saw a tribute to Foo Fighters star Taylor Hawkins and a video play from Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky. Back to the headlines of the world news. Pakistan Supreme Court will decide embattled Prime Minister Imran Khan's fate. Police issue fines over number 10 gathering on eve of Prince Philip's funeral. Grammy honours go to Olivia Rodrigo, Silk Sonic and John Baptiste. And that ends World News.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of
For your wheel lease, visit the Leasing Mahagethara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagethara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Hambantota International Port was named a multipurpose port terminal of the year 2021 and port infrastructure development of the year 2021 at the recently concluded Global Port Forum Awards earlier this week. The award ceremony held at the Shangri-La, Dubai, brought together organizations and professionals from across the world's ports and terminals industry. And that was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928. Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Moving on to sports, it's rugby. Australia has been announced as the preferred candidate to host the 2029 Women's Rugby World Cup. Already favourites to host the men's event in 2027, they are now poised to host both editions after the Australian government announced financial support for the two tournaments in its budget. World Rugby Chief Alan Galpin said Australia's candidacy represented a major milestone for the global advancement of women's rugby. Earlier this year, Brisbane was named as the preferred bidder for the 2032 Summer Olympics by the International Olympic Committee. Australia will host cricket's 2020 World Cup later this year, football's Women's World Cup in 2023, and the British and Irish Lions Rugby Tour in 2025. And that was Sports News.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, Sri Lanka's Institute of Directors launched its Family Business Forum recently via the virtual platform aimed at inculcating sound board leadership and good governance practices in family-owned businesses. Chairman of the Institute, Faisal Saleh, said they recognize the presence, growth and importance of family businesses in the economy of the country. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
The 10th edition of Sancharaka Udava, Sri Lanka's premier travel and tourism exhibition organised by Sri Lanka Association of Inbound Tour Operators, will be held on May 20th and 21st at the BMICH. Imran Hassan, CEO Managing Director, CDS Events, said the primary objective of the event is to provide an ideal platform for small and individual service providers in the region to create much-needed links with the large travel players as well as public and private sector officials in the tourism industry under one roof. And that was economic news. The weather report is next. Moving on to the weather report. The Mid-Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at several places over most parts of the island during the evening or night. Heavy showers, about 100 millimeters, can be expected at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern, central and northwestern provinces. The sun is going to be directly over Sri Lanka from the 5th to the 15th of April in this year. The nearest areas of Sri Lanka over which the sun is overhead tomorrow known are Dodanduwa, Akurasa, Ranna and Hambantota. And that was the weather report. And to end this news broadcast, a recap of the main news headlines. According to the constitutional experts, the president cannot resign from the post. The police say no one arrested in connection with the Mirihana incident has died. The Jaffna University closed down. The government introduces a subsidy for chemical fertilizer. Japan grants 500 million yen to Sri Lanka's plant quarantine process. Demaru Deruan further remanded. And in news overseas, Pakistan Supreme Court will decide embattled Prime Minister Imran Khan's fate. In sports, it's rugby. Australia announced as the preferred candidate to host the 2029 Women's Rugby World Cup. And that concludes this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.